Great. All right. Good evening, everyone from Venice. Buonasera. Good morning to everyone who is joining us from the North America and Canada. I know we have some registrations from there. My name is Alexandra Lecoeur. I'm the director of the European Cultural Academy based in Venice, Italy. And I'm very happy to be here with you today to talk about our art courses that we have scheduled for 2023. And the upcoming Venice Architecture Biennale that will be opened in May next year. It will be the first post-COVID Architecture Biennale, and it will last until November, end of November next year. Together with me, I have Matteo Magnani, my colleague.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Hi, hi, Matteo. You could contact him for all your questions later after this webinar. And I also have our alumni, so former student from Contemporary Art course, Nancy Hirsch. Hi, Nancy.
Hello.
Nice to have you with us. And Nancy will talk about her experience at the Academy, but also the project that she is doing right now in the US. Some organizational moments. We're going to record this session and you will receive next week, early next week, a recording of the webinar. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them in our chat section. And after mine and Nancy's presentation, we'll have some time for Q&A. And me, Matteo, and Nancy will do our best to answer your questions. Also, for all the registered participants, if you get inspired by this session, until the 31st of December, we have an early bird discount, 20%. You will also receive the promo code in your email box, and you could use it to register for our art courses for next year. All right, so I'll start with the presentation of the Academy, and later we'll talk about the courses and the program. But I decided to talk about the Academy and our vision because, you know, we discuss a lot those things in the team, but I also noticed that, you know, we don't talk enough about them to our students, to our future students as well. And we started the Academy on the basis of European Cultural Center, which is the second largest cultural foundation in Venice after the Venice Biennale. We are lucky to host our classes in 3 palaces of the European Cultural Center. They're historic palaces. 2 of them are located on the Grand Canal. It's quite an inspiring location. And we wanted to provide a safe and inspiring but professional environment that helps to begin and develop art career and provide knowledge and confidence. And this is what all our courses are about. This is what our all programs, both actually in architecture, are about. This is what we do. Oh, you see. And of course, this is very much connected to our values. In all our courses, we try to be honest. So it also means that we very honestly discuss challenging issues in the art world, budgets, funding, how to get your first job, how to build a collector's base, and so on. Inspiration and perseverance, and we do encourage you to work very hard. Our programs are quite intense, so you get ready for that as well if you would like to join, but it delivers results. So that's what we really value. art as the basis for self-expression. I know that for a lot of people who come to Venice, they feel that, you know, somewhere at home, they don't have that environment where they can really be themselves. And sometimes that means that you could be weird. Sometimes it means that you can be loud and so on. But we have performance artists joining the course. We have singers joining the course. We have different types of creative people joining, and we always encourage them to use art as this for self-expression, and of course the courage to choose one's own path. That's also very, very important. And for next year we have two courses. One is contemporary art course, which is a 2-week course, which called Contemporary Art Framing to Develop Your Ideas, and Venice Biennale Revealed behind the scenes experience. These are quite different programs, but all of them are structured around the results the students achieve. So it's really important for us, for you so that, you know, to teach you in a way so you leave with certain concrete results. So it's not just a theory, but you make the right connections. If we can introduce you to the right people, we always do that. If we could, you know, advise on the current project you're working on or help you shape the ideas, we try to do it. On the left, you see a photo of Palazzo Bembo, which is a Venetian palace right next to Grand Canal, right next to Rialto Bridge, one of the oldest bridges in Venice, built by Michelangelo. It's right in the heart of the city. And we use it as a classroom, quite nice. And it really, you know, helps to create the right mood for you to work on your art projects and your art career. Why would you join? We have expertise in education. All our courses are developed by instructional designers together with art professors, curators, and artists. You know, nothing is by chance. Every visit is planned. Every location have been chosen very carefully for you guys to have maximum results. We use this kind of modern approach and education, very open, very friendly. And our groups are rather small, so they're up to 25 people, which allow us to keep the kind of boutique approach to build connection with each student, understand his or her needs, and really try to provide a tailor-made advice. Because of our position in Venice and connection to European Cultural Center, we do have access to insider art market, so information. So you really see behind the scenes. When we do Venice Biennale course, our first edition of the course takes place during the preview week. So these are a couple of days before the opening of the Biennale. And this is when art and architecture professionals are coming to Venice, and we invite you guys to visit the opening parties, and we go into palaces, so into exhibitions places that are closed to public. So you would be among the first people to see them. And also, of course, the Biennale. Our students are always one of the first to see the Biennale. And we have partnerships with large European arts organizations, including the Biennale itself, the British Council, and many others. So we see ourselves as a kind of breeding ground for educational cultural projects. We try to create connections. This is one of the collages that a group of artists and teachers actually made in Palazzo Michele, in our another location at the Biennale. In Venice. They were working together on this big art piece. I really like it. So to tell you a little bit more about each of our programs. So contemporary art is a 2-week program. It is, for many years, Oh, sorry. For many years, we are doing it with artist, curator, blogger Daniel Krisa. Daniel is an artist from Canada, and she, if you don't know her story, she graduated from an art academy in Canada, and during her graduation exam, she was told that she has no talent and she should never enter the studio, so she should never be an artist. She believed her professors and found a job as a graphic designer in an ad publishing advertising agency, and worked for 15 years as a graphic designer. But she was following the art world and the exhibitions. At a certain point, she was so jealous that she's not the one who is working in the art world, that she has started her own blog, which is called The Jealous Curator, where she would describe different projects and shows, and being jealous that she is not the one curating them or creating them. And this blog became increasingly popular. She has 250,000 followers on her Instagram, The Jealous Curator. She has a podcast now, a newsletter. She found courage to enter the studio and became a very successful collage artist. She published 3 books and 2 books. So the latest book was about a great female artist. And she's an incredibly inspiring, but also very warm and friendly person. And we bring her to Venice every year. And we love working with her. And she also joins the group as a student, but gives also workshops for the participants. And basically, it's a 2-week program, and the idea is to help you to move forward or bring your art project to the next step. If you have a project already that you're working on, or maybe you have an idea, we help you to shape it, right? So the first week is dedicated to a strong artistic concept, how to create it. If you have one, you can start working on it. Then we talk about adjusting the projects to the environment. So actually you have a great idea, but how do I make it happen? How do I make it happen in Venice? How do I make it happen in Metaverse, in a gallery? So we discuss all things like production, logistics, and so on. And then during the second week, we, together with Danielle, you would talk about your inner critic, the creative blocks that stop you from being an artist or creating the best artistic project. And then, of course, once we have that out of the way, we also talk about money, finance, how to fund your project. We talk about sponsorships, we talk about scholarships, auctions, and so on and so on. And of course, you're in Venice during the Biennale, so we would like you to see as much art as possible. So during those weeks, together with the group, we have tours, guided tours to the Biennale, to the best museums, including Peggy Guggenheim Museum, many others. So this is in short the program for summer. It will take place in July next year. And usually also, yes, something what I wanted to say. So usually who joins it, mostly we usually have artists, professional artists joining, someone who maybe is quite established in their own country and would like to create an international project. We have art consultants, a small number of art students, but also people who have chosen a different career. They could be lawyers, accountants, managers, but they really know that they would like to work in art. And this course is the first step for them to do it and immediately see some results. So it's usually quite a diverse group of people, but the course is structured in a way that you can have different levels of expertise, and we're all helping each other. So, a year ago, we had a course where we had just art collectors working in finance, and by the end of the course, they purchased some work from the artist, and then we had a curator who wanted to curate the work of the artists and participants on the same group. So it's always a very nice collaboration, and somehow we all become friends by the end of 2 weeks, and it all works very well. And then a shorter course, a more concise course, which is Venice Biennale Revealed, behind the scenes experience. And the first edition takes place, as I mentioned before, during the preview week, which is next year from May 18 to May 22. And these would be 4 days. And we really talk a lot about the oldest and most prestigious arts and architecture show in the world, the Venice Biennale. We talk about the curatorial history, the structure, how to participate. So we discuss budgets, logistics, and then at the end, there is a big discussion session to Biennale or not to Biennale. So we discuss whether a biannual show is the best way to present contemporary art right now, and whether it has some future or not. All right. So these are the programs. If you would like to join, you could go on our website, ica.art, and it's very easy to find the art courses and to join. This was a part of my presentation, but now I would like to give floor to Nancy. And Nancy is an artist who was a participant of contemporary art course together with Daniel Krisa. This summer, it was in August, a very hot August in Venice. And during the course, Nancy was working on an amazing project, which is called Chapels of Tears. And we invited Nancy to talk about it to you guys. Nancy, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I am somebody that absolutely believes in being chance favors a prepared mind, because I had just I've been a professional artist for many years, and I just stepped down as executive director of an arts organization. And I was in my studio and I got an Instagram notification, which I don't even usually have on. And it said that the Jealous Curator was going live. So I thought, okay, I'm in my studio. I turn it on. And next thing I know, there's this fascinating conversation between Danielle and Alexandra. And the more I started listening and hearing about this course, and I have to say it's everything and more that Alexandra just presented, the next thing I know, I'm going, I think I'm going to go to Venice. I think I'm going to go to Venice. And now the course, as Alexandra said, is a framework to develop your ideas. And I had just left the job. I had finished a lovely commission, and I had a museum show. So all that was great, but now what? Like what's next? And so I started thinking, okay, well, what's next? And this just seemed like the perfect opportunity, but I did want to go with a project. I didn't know like how finished my project should be, but I kind of went with it. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go. And then the ideas started developing. Let's see, does this take me to the next one? And okay, there we go. So just to give you a little context, as I mentioned, I'm an artist, and I've been a teaching artist and an educator and admin and arts advocate, but my own work is at the intersection of personal narrative, art making, and community engagement. And by art making, often the stories are from my personal life, but the materials are also very important to what I use. So the top left corner, I'm showing you that because I love repurposed. I love nets. I love how things hang. part of going to the Biennale, which was just incredible, was I was also always looking at how they were installing things, how they were making things happen, the practical. But it's the idea of when you walk along the beach and all the flotsam and jetsam wash up and are entangled, this idea of entanglement and how our unique stories become entangled and we create meaning from our experiences and our shared experiences. The second top right are these long scrolls that I created following the passing of my mother 4 years ago. And it was a return to printmaking, which I had studied in undergraduate and graduate school. They were abstract, they were flowing, and it was a way to really chronicle and document grief and find beauty. And then in 2020, as we know, the world changed, and so did my work. We found ourselves on Zoom, we found ourselves isolated. There was divisiveness in the world, polarization, nationalization, and I found great community in many of the people I shared the Zoom room with, and these are all things that the experience with ECA really helped me kind of get very clear on what my work was about. Let's see, this is, okay guys, sorry. There we go. So this is the seeds of evolution. When I started thinking about my project and I started thinking about water, and I started reaching out to different people in different religious communities and people that were practicing different faith. One of the people I reached out to was a rabbi in our community, and he gave me a stack of books. And I was interested in kind of grief and death and dying. But one book really stood out, and that was about ritual. And then I was talking to a friend of mine at one of my openings, and she's studying to be a chaplain at a hospital. And we were talking about how the pandemic really robbed us of rituals because we couldn't celebrate, we couldn't grieve together. There was this isolation. And I realized that as artists, we create ritual all the time, right? You know, we start with an idea, we use our imagination, we create steps and processes, and then we reflect, we share, we commune together. And the fact that this was taking place around water in the Biennale, one of the rabbit holes I went down, I was Googling different things about water, I came across tears. And this concept that tears are a symbol of a liminal state. They move from inside our body to outside our body. And to me, this really, one of my passions is social justice. And to me, this embodied this idea of how I was feeling in the wake of a global pandemic, heightened polarization, nationalization. So I started thinking about watershed moments. And when I looked up the definition, I love that it references water, but it's also an event or period marking a turning point. And coming to study in Venice with the ECA this summer was absolutely a turning point. When you get there and you're on the water taxis and seeing the look of Venice was just fantastic. As Alexandra mentioned, so much of it are the people that you're with. So I just have a few kind of pivotal moments that have moved me along in this idea. So the top left is just a group of us. We were walking, we were going to go to dinner, and Danielle pulled us into this pigment store, and we just had the best time buying all different pigments. And this is just kind of a quick shot. And I do want to mention that we are all in touch. As Alexandra mentioned, we do monthly Zooms. We help each other with different situations. If you need a contact, you need a resource in another country, or even in your own country, we've all been in touch and sharing. Another turning point in my project, which was initially called the Garden of Tears, was Alexandra suggested that I go over to the island of San Giorgio Maggiore, because in 2018, for the Architectural Biennale, the Vatican invited 10 different renowned architects or teams to create chapels on this island. And when I came back, and it was beautiful. I had a small tour with 2 other people. It's on this beautiful little island. Also, when I got off the water taxi in the church, there was the Ai Weiwei installation that was incredible. So everywhere you turn is inspiration. And the idea of these chapels. And when I came back and I was talking to Danielle about the creating chapels for this project, she said, Nancy, the concept is the chapel. It doesn't have to be a physical space. So that really got me thinking. And then another thing that Danielle was, when we were talking about tears, she mentioned about how she had recently heard on NPR public radio about how there are different types of tears. And we know that when you cut onions, it can make you tear. So there's the tears that come from your emotions. There's the tears that just keep your eyes moist. And then there are the tears that are a reaction to allergens or onions. So I went home with some of my pigment that I had gotten. I went to a little store in Venice, bought some onions, sliced them, started playing with them and printing them up. Now that did not work. But when I came home, one of my loves besides printmaking, I also studied paper making, and I remembered making vegetable papyrus, which you actually, it's not true paper making, but the idea of the cells bonding from the plant fibers after you cook them. So I started playing around with onions and creating onions in a tear shape. So these are one of the earlier ones. They are evolving daily. You slice them very thin. I press them in a book press. Then I dry them and they adhere beautifully. I am starting to add pearls and other jewels, thinking of tears as vessels to hold our humanity and our compassion. And when I did my final the last image has happened since I've been home, but and this is just showing you kind of how it evolved. So right before I went to Italy, I did these 2 drawings on the left, like thinking about tears, thinking about vessels. And I've also learned that in the Roman tombs, they have found little grief bottles. Now they're not sure whether they were actual grief bottles or perfume bottles, but there's stories that people would cry into these little bottles as a way to hold their tears and show how much they were grieving. And I started making my own tears on the right. So these 3 images precede the trip to Italy, but as you can see, the onions and then what came from working with my cohorts. So at the end of the course, the last day, we all share our projects. And several things came out of that. And one was that this is a project that's Chapel of Tears that I would love to share with my ECA community and beyond. And so I've invited everyone that's participated and asked them to invite people as well to create a tear or a vessel for their tears. And I have gotten several back. Some are works in progress. And with that, I'll be applying for different exhibitions in different places. And I also want to say that since I've been back, I was trained as a facilitator with the Delaware Humanities and Oregon Humanities as a conversation facilitator, because that to me is part of the community engagement, where as we start to talk about watershed moments, talk about what is important to us, are finding our shared humanity. So there'll be a conversation part, there'll be an art making and a reflection. So this piece that I'm going to share with you is by Diana Lobo. She is a poet and visual artist, and she's been working in the world of seed poetry. So I'm just going to share this with you first. And this is her piece. So a seed poem is a small 12 to 24 word poem that is also a BIP-39 mnemonic, and therefore offers the reader full access to a cryptocurrency wallet. Now, I've had to read about this, and there's a lot more to it, so please don't ask me any questions about it. But basically, there is a fixed list of 2,048 words, and there's a whole pattern that has to do. So Diana's intention was to have it built around the word tear, but tear was not one of those 2,048 words. But I love how it is this beautiful description in an expansive way of what a tear is or can be. And I also wanted you to see that on every slide, I do have their website and their Instagram, so you can follow and learn more about the artist's work. So next we have Jane, and Jane is from Northern California, and she's a painter, and this is a work that's in progress. She was raised in Okinawa, and every spring for Boys' Day, colorful koi kites tethered to poles with spinning turbine tops would fly next to every Okinawan home. And it brought joy and hope to her as a young child. So now as an adult woman, her as a mother and grandmother, she's creating these beautiful kites to bring joy and hope as she and we all are experiencing the catastrophic changes affecting our lives and the need for us to find solutions to save the babies and our planet. Then next we have, this is Susan Lerner. She's a hand-cut collage artist, and Susan's background and training was in the food industry. And so she's been thinking about creating a project around taste or in using the other senses. But she's also part of a collage collective in New York and has just was part of a show in Paris. So Susan's work is called Battle Cry. And it's about the state of women's rights in the US in the wake of the Dobbs decision, which reversed Roe v. Wade. And Susan says, women can't believe that we are fighting for the same rights fought for 50 years ago. I believe that women should have the right to control their own bodies and have access to all healthcare to support that right. And then next, and I think I saw that Bianca joined the group, so I'm going to show this.
Yes, actually, I'm here.
So let me play it. And do you want to just talk about it for a second? I'd love to hear you.
Okay, well, yes, thank you. Well, while I was in Venice during the workshop, I went to the cemetery island in San Michele, and the first row I walked in, it was like a whole wall of dead children, and I was, so touched by these images, and so I decided to make my tier about that. And as you see, it also has the little butterflies in it, and for me, that's a symbol for that these children were not allowed to, have a fully lived life. Kind of like being stuck in the cocoon stage of their life. And yeah, so I got like completely inspired by that experience. And I'm like so happy that this turns into a project. So thank you, Nancy, for initiating it.
Oh, I'm so glad you jumped on. I mean, really, just, and that's really part of the experience, Bianca talking about going over to that island and me going over to San Giorgio Maggiore. And you just have this opportunity to be immersed in art and culture and inspiration every moment, when it's just fantastic. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so this is my invitation to all of you to collaborate, because I would love to cast a wide net and work with different communities to foster creativity, connection, and compassion through art and conversation. So I've started creating professional development workshops and community workshops. I'm going to be partnering with a new yoga studio in Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia, where I live. And we're going to be doing a workshop in January. I have a school that's interested in booking me in March. And as I said, I'm going to be working through the Delaware Humanities through their art and conversation, and I'm adding the art component. And that will be going live in January. But I'm super excited about working with my ECA cohorts, because the work that's coming in is just so exciting. And who knows where we'll bring the project to. So that's it. And I really thank you all for this time. And oh, I did want to show you, I'm going to just stop sharing 1 second. Okay, so this is one of these onion tiers. And what's so cool, so they're really thin. And I've had a really great time, like just figuring out how long to cook it and press it. And now they're coated with encaustic and they're going to be hanging in an installation. But the crazy thing is the inside of the onion, there's eyes everywhere. And so coming from the milk of dreams and seeing the eyes is just like, to me, it's serendipity. So that's it. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Nancy. It was also so nice to see. So for everyone, guys, the work all the work that Nancy showed, these are the, from participants of contemporary art course, the workshop that happened this August, and it's so nice to see that becoming a project and to see those connections thrive. Very happy to and also it brings so much memories because during the course we also go for a drink and we have dinners together and enjoy Venice. It's also very brings all those memories. It's really nice. We hold this course only once a year, 2 weeks in summer. There would be around 20-25 people max, and you can register on our website. I shared the link to the website to our art courses, and I have Matteo here with me, and he is your contact person. So if you have any questions, then he will be able to answer them. There's his email address and WhatsApp number on the website. Guys, do you have any questions? Oh yeah, here. Thank you, Matteo, for sharing it in the chat. Do you have any questions about the Nancy's project or the courses? We have some time, so I could answer them. I know that one of the questions that we get very often is about accommodation in Venice. I do recommend to reserve accommodation as early as possible because it's quite a busy city. We can send you a list of options, hotels that we recommend, or websites which are similar to Airbnb. So that's also an option, but we can help you with some information, but it's up to you to book it. Another question that I get pretty often is about the payment and fees. So you can also pay the fee with 3 or 6 installments, so you don't have to do it in one go. You can also pay on a monthly basis, and that's what a lot of our participants do as well. Matteo can share some details with you. We have a question from Rachel. What physical materials are available, if any, for creating developer project? What about the space? Yeah. So the projects that people are coming with could be very different. So we have artists doing their art projects, but we also have people who would like to create artist residencies or galleries who are looking for new artists or curators who would like to get involved into the Venice Biennale. So the projects are very different, and it really depends what kind of project you will be doing. We have classrooms, but if you mean studios, we don't have artist studios available, though we can point you into the right direction because there are many of these in Venice. I hope I answered your question. I see that there's a possibility to ask for Erasmus Plus funding. Is it possible also to ask for an art course for teacher or so? Definitely it is possible. So we do work with Erasmus Plus. We are officially their course provider, and we have a series of courses for teachers, which are called training through art. So how to integrate art practices into your classroom. The description is available under educator section of the website. But if you're working as an individual, you might also know that Erasmus Plus gives funding for professionals. So you can definitely apply for Erasmus Plus to do a course in Venice, for sure. Do you have recommendations for getting involved with galleries, curators, and residences? For sure, there are two main residences in Venice, which is in Fondazione Cini and residence which is called Bevilacqua, and we know them very well. During the course, we also do gallery tours, and you'll have opportunity to speak with gallery managers or gallery directors. Sometimes we invite them also for Q&A sessions and for participants to really meet them. For sure, you will get to know the Venetian creative scene quite well during the course. And of course, if you need some presentations and we can connect you with someone for a cup of coffee while you're in Venice, we always do that. Art courses presented in the last session are not funded by Erasmus Plus. So again, we have courses that are funded by Erasmus Plus for school teachers, but Erasmus Plus also has a program for professionals. That means that as an individual, as a professional, you can apply for Erasmus Plus courses and join contemporary art or Venice Biennale Revealed. It is easier to apply if you're, for example, a school teacher, but if you are an individual, a professional, Erasmus Plus also has a funding for that, for individual mobility. Yes, what is the total course fee? So a 2-week contemporary art course cost 1,950 euro. Venice Biennale Revealed course cost, Matteo, help me, 1,050, around 1,000, right?
Yeah, 1,100 euros approximately.
Oh yes, 1,100 euro.
And if I can add to this question, Tatu was mentioning about the payment plan. As Alexandra mentioned, we are reserving a 20% discount on all art courses until the end of the year. So if you wish to sign up, you just and get advantage of this discount, you just need to make the first payment before the end of December. So you don't have to pay the course in full before the end of December, but just to pay the first installment, and then it's possible to pay the rest in the following months.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Elena says, thank you, Matteo. Elena says, I'm teacher of art at public school, so you can definitely apply also via your school. Art course, not in teachers. Oh, yeah. Then if you're a teacher in art school, Elena, you can also apply for our course via your school. If your school already has an Erasmus Plus project, that would be even easier. Or if your school is already accredited for Erasmus Plus funding, then it would be quite easy for you to apply for a course, and we can provide you with OID number and all the necessary details to apply for funding. Do you recommend coming already with a project, or you can formulate it at the course? So actually, we have people who are coming without a project and then start getting a lot of ideas while they are in Venice, and it's totally fine, because the first week and the first couple of days are dedicated to creating a strong concept, strong artistic concept. And we have a wonderful, very experienced professor, Laura Tinti, who shows you a range of projects and artistic concepts, and then so it helps people to formulate their ideas. Usually artists, I think Nancy would agree with me, come already with a certain topic that interests them, so they would be working on certain themes, but what exactly the medium or how it would look like. Maybe they don't know yet, and we help them to shape it. Or when we visit exhibitions, when we visit Biennale, you also start getting ideas, because you see so much of really high quality art. So I think, right, that you kind of, you can change it also, even if you come with your own project. Sometimes you start with something and then it changes 180 degrees at the end of the program.
Right. I was just going to add that my two roommates, I mean, one is a professional artist in the UK and the other is a professional hairdresser who loved to do watercolors and paintings. And she kind of had an idea. So you get both. You absolutely get both. For me, I wanted to go with some sort of idea because that's how I work.
Yeah.
And I knew it would evolve and change. So I needed something to start with, and it has evolved. But if you're just interested in thinking about your work in a new way or thinking about creating new work, you will. It's like when I came home, I told people it was like drinking Prosecco from a fire hose. Like I needed a month to just like process it. But now that I've been processing it, I'm in the flow.
This is a good metaphor, drinking Prosecco from a fire hose. Yes, one of participants said that it's an intellectual equivalent of pie eating contest, because you get so much art and so much ideas in a short period of time. Rachel, I'm a muralist in Seattle and would love to develop an international collaboration project in Venice for 2023-2024. That's definitely possible. For two reasons. The first reason is, of course, ECA, as I mentioned earlier, works closely together with another cultural foundation in Venice, which is called European Cultural Center. And for more than 12 years, they've been organizing exhibitions in Venice during both Art and Architecture Biennale, in Venetian palaces, but also in public sculpture gardens. So they also organize performance art week. They have a section in photography, and you know, for murals, they also work outdoors, and with Venice City Council as well. So it's definitely possible to create something. Next year is the Architecture Biennale. Art Biennale would be in 2024. But usually the projects, if you want to get involved with Biennale, take quite some time. So if you would like to do that, I do recommend to come in 2023, meet the right people, do your research, start talking and preparing the project, and then you would be ready for the Biennale 2024, for sure. Yeah. So in general, projects in Venice take a little bit more time, because it's the city that has a difficult logistics. There are no cars in the city. Everyone is walking, and everything you need to bring by boat, meaning that any type of sculpture, any type of materials, if they're heavy, you need to bring them by boat. And that creates an extra level of complexity in Venice. Yes, ECA from next year, we're opening a new location in Barcelona. We will start with 6 programs. For now, it will be teaching through art, teaching language through art, using works of art in the classroom, and 4 more programs. And then from 2024, most likely we will organize courses, more art courses, like contemporary art course in Barcelona. But please, from in April, we will launch our first program in Barcelona on teaching and learning through art. Very welcome to join. It's a fantastic location. Just came back from there. I'm an art teacher based in Malta. I'm interested in your teacher training. Do you recommend going alone or with my colleagues? I definitely recommend going with colleagues, because first of all, it's kind of what Erasmus is for, right? So you go with your colleagues and you to meet other teachers and to share your knowledge. Most likely you would be working on EU Erasmus project at your school. So, and usually it's a group of teachers who are working on a project, and not an individual teacher. Yes, Maria, hi. Yes.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you too, yeah.
I'm sorry I can't put on my camera because there's very poor lighting. It's very
no worries.
But hi to everybody and thank you for the interesting session. Guess I wanted to ask you about this Erasmus project because at the moment I'm working in a public school and there might be some other teachers who are interested, but from different fields who would like to take part and in this project. Of course, I will see, maybe we can gather a few more people together. It would make more sense as well.
Yes, so in general, we do recommend going with your colleagues. I once had a story. I was talking to a teacher from Iceland, and I said, because you're applying for Erasmus Plus project, and for them it doesn't matter whether you apply for one teacher or for 7 teachers.
Yes.
So it's nice to do it for people anyway. So I was talking to him and I asked him, so, are you coming with your colleagues? And he said, sorry, in my school in Iceland, there are only 2 teachers in the whole school.
Oh
so if I leave, there would nobody to teach. So I come alone. I said, okay.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. But in those circumstances, then
yeah. So sometimes that happens as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Could you note Maria's name and maybe Maria? Just 2 hours ago we had a session on our Erasmus Plus art courses.
Okay.
And, maybe it would be nice for you to receive a recording of that session.
Yes,
or
please.
if you could share with Matteo your email.
Sure.
He could send it to you because it would be nice to see. And of course, he will. You will also get an email of our program manager, Sara Longo, and she's responsible for teaching through art courses.
Yes, and I joined the first part.
It's on ilearn.edu.mt, right?
Justo, yes, that's the one. Yes.
Perfect.
It's my name surname at ilearn.edu.mt. Yes, that's right.
Okay, yeah, so Maria, we have your email, so I'll certainly ask my colleague who is in charge for these courses to get back to you, and we certainly send you also the recording.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Great. So please remind the dates of the course. A 2-week contemporary art course takes place in July from 18 to 28 of July. And we have 2 editions of the Venice Biennale course, one during the preview week, which is May 18, May 22nd, and another one at the end of the Biennale when you see all the projects developed. This is usually at the end of November. I think it's the 2nd week of November. All this information is available on the website.
Okay. Great. Very, very good.
Okay. Great.
Thank you for the information.
You're very welcome.
Sending love and peace from Malta.
Yeah. Thank you.
We need a lot of peace at the moment.
Yes, that's for sure.
It's a very dark time at the moment here in Malta, but we hope taking part in these things gives us a little bit more joy, perhaps, as well.
For sure, I think we all found that that art and creativity is something that we really need, and if there was more of that,
definitely,
maybe we would be living in a more fair and beautiful world. That's
it's all about fairness. Art. Without art, we have no color, and life would be boring. I guess I guess we need art in our life. And even to express ourselves,
for sure.
In general. Yes.
For sure.
Anyway.
From a very young age to the old age, for sure.
For sure, definitely. All ages. Anyway.
All right. If there are no more questions, I would like to thank Nancy for her contribution and her wonderful presentation. I wish you a lot of good luck and success with the project, but I'm sure that it will be a big success. So I'm excited to see it developing. Thank you very much, Bianca and Diane, and see some other familiar names. Thank you very much for joining as well. Guys, if you have any other questions, please go to our website, ica.art, contact Matteo, he's there to help you. You will get an email with the recording of the session, with the promo code to register before December 31st. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you in Venice next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you both. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, everybody.
Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Grazie mille. Arrivederci. Alla prossima, sì. See you in Venice. Grazie.
Bye, Bianca. Bye, Alexandra.
Thank you.